My boyfriend faked his death because he didn't want to be with me. Now I'm finally in contact, and dude couldn't even man up and tell me that he didn't want to be together anymore. He had me thinking that he was dead somewhere because he wouldn't reply back to me for 2 days. His roommate had to call me and let me know that, yeah, he's fine, he's cheating on you with my ex. So not only is he screwing me over, but he's also screwing over his roommate, his supposed best friend. What a freaking terrible person. I can't believe I was fooled. I almost told this person I loved him, and I am so mad at myself. I'm so disgusted. Update number 1. So I went to my ex's house on Wednesday to grab some things I left there, and did some unhinged and petty things to his room as his roommate egged me on. His roommate felt so bad for me. Hell, I felt so bad for him. He still has to live with the guy who betrayed him. I offered to buy him lunch and he accepted and offered me a toke. We went to a Thai place and I ate only one piece of my food. My appetite has been completely lost, and I pondered on if what I did, trashing my ex's room, was justified. I asked the roommate and he was shocked, responding with, "Don't you think he deserved it?" Indeed, he did, but I'm such a nice person. I felt like I had gone a little psycho about it. I took him back to the apartment and told him how I was sad, how I wouldn't see their cat anymore. He told me I could come over whenever I wanted to, even just to F with my ex. I asked him if he had any St. Patrick's Day plans, and he said, yeah, come out with me. So I accepted. We texted for a few days. I let him know I was making shepherd's pie for my parents, and he commented on how he hadn't had it in a while. I offered to bring him some, since I had intended on making some for them on Friday if everything hadn't blown up anyway. So I made the pies on Friday afternoon and headed out to meet him at a bar that evening. I arrived to the bar, and he introduced me to everyone all night as my roommate's ex-girlfriend that he cheated on with my ex. So although I got sympathy, I felt uneasy on how these random people and his coworkers would view me. He had been drinking all day, while I had just started, so I was looking out for him a little. We went to smoke in his car, then went to a house party after. Now, at this party, he was putting his arm around me and hugging me. It felt nice. We left the party and went back to his car. We spoke for a moment before he asked to kiss me. I said sure, and we made out for a bit. He walked me to my car and he asked if I wanted to go back to the apartment with him. With the possibility of seeing my ex? Not now. I headed home instead. It wasn't my intention to get with the roommate. I know it won't lead to anything serious because he's too young for me, and I just can't set my head and heart straight for anything physical right now. Also, I'm late in my cycle, 4 days late. I'm hoping it's just from the stress. Now here are some relevant comments. User 1 said, not gonna lie, based on how he introduced you to everyone, it sounds like he's just trying to get under his roommate's skin by messing around with you now. I might be wrong though. Then OP replied with, I figured, and I'm sort of okay with it. He has a reputation, but at least he's straight up about it. I just let him know that I wanted comfort, affection, and friendship rather than sex, and he's okay with that since he can find sex anywhere. Then user 2 said, he is in a very vulnerable position and is seriously grieving. It sounds like he is taking this super hard, and given that he is stuck living with the person who caused it, is a bit traumatized. I think he's going to make some bad choices. You are dealing with it one way and he is another. I'm glad you went home rather than go back to his place because he was in no state to make a proper choice. Make sure you both respect each other and understand that you both are vulnerable right now. I wish the best for you both. Yeah, I feel really bad for him. A friendship of 6 years ruined. He's got a good head on his shoulders and honestly doesn't drink much. It was the first Friday he's had off in forever, so he just took advantage of that. I think we both respect one another, but at the same time, we're still getting to know each other since we didn't speak much at all when I was dating my ex. He told me if I didn't feel right and if this was too much for me, he'd leave me alone. He just wants me to be comfortable, which I appreciate. I'd definitely leave him alone if he'd like me to. I don't really have much of an attachment to him, but he's nice to talk to and make out with. Then user 3 said, you really need to separate yourself from this drama BS. No games, no revenge. Cut your ex off, cut his roommate off, and move on with your life. Then user 4 said, take the cat first. They deserve better. And finally, OP replied with, he deserves so much better, but it's okay. I'll love on him when I see him. Update number 2. Hello again, Reddit. I don't really have much of an update, but just wanted to let everyone know it's been pretty okay for me. I've moved into my own place with my cat, and we've officially been here 10 days. It's been great besides my cat's initial anxiousness, but she's getting used to it. I haven't spoken to my ex's roommate in weeks. We both started feeling weird about the situation, but remain Pokemon Go friends. As for my ex, him and the girl broke up and I haven't heard from him at all. He views all my social media, but has made no effort to speak with me, which I am grateful for. Guess he's just looking to see what he's missing out on. I will be going to a concert next week, which my mom said she'd fund for me, and my older sister recently told me she's paying my phone bill for the rest of the year. I've really been so lucky this month, and I know I deserve it. My friend who gave me the cat is also giving me a kitten from their newest litter. I can't wait to have my own little void and hope they can bring my kitty out of her shell. I've started therapy since, this is the only bad update, and I had a panic attack while I was intimate with a guy. I told him that I felt it was too soon since the breakup, and even warned him I might cry, and he was okay with it until I was sobbing and hyperventilating into his pillow. I left his place and proceeded to chain smoke/cry my entire way home. Somehow, that didn't scare him off, and he's asked to see me since, but I don't think I will. I'm thinking that I'll stay single and alone for a bit, focus on improving myself. So, that's the update, and probably the last one. I'm just gonna be healing, glowing up, and thriving. Update number 3. Hello, it's been a while, Reddit. So, big and small changes have happened since my initial post. I have since moved out on my own, which is exciting. I love my new place. I got a kitten and she is the absolute best and gets along so well with my other cat. Plus, they're sisters, same mom, different litters. I was seeing a therapist for a while. I hang out with friends more, went to concerts, traveled, etc. Now, I guess, onto the juicier stuff. Honestly, not much has happened. I unfollowed him on socials, but he continued to view my things for a few months until I had a dream about him telling me he got a new job and he was going to be a dad. I woke up in a terrible mood from that and went into work, and only to drive behind who? My ex on his way to work. Then, that same day, he unfollowed me on socials. About time. I texted his roommate, since we're friends, only friends, and asked him about the pregnancy. He said, "He did mention something to me the other day, and I was confused, but after having you ask, it makes sense." So yeah, he got the girl he cheated on me with pregnant within 2 to 3 months. Congrats to them. I hope they live in misery with each other. I've gone on a few dates here and there. I now have intimacy issues, so I don't like people touching me, much less engaging in sexual acts with me, so currently going through a dry spell. I'm just enjoying my life, stress-free and cheater-free. Or so I thought. Since we unfollowed each other on socials, I thought that would be it. I reposted a funny video yesterday, and he viewed it today. This sorry excuse of a man went out of his way to look me up and view my story. I know it's probably best to just block him, but I really don't care to. He's lost the best thing that ever happened to him, and he can look on and regret. I doubt that he'll reach out, so I don't think I'll be updating again. Just going to continue living my best life and enjoy my peace on this earth. Update number 4. Hello, it's been a long time. 7 months to be exact since I found out my ex-boyfriend cheated on me with his best friend/roommate's ex. I have not heard from my ex and have blocked him on mostly everything. I don't care to know what's going on in his life, and it helps that he lives far away from me anyway, so there's no way I would ever see him besides passing on the highway. Which happened one time and caused him to finally unfollow me on Instagram, because men are weird and will ghost you but continue to view your content? Oh well, so long and good riddance. His now ex-roommate has been over to my place a few times. My cats really like him, but he's tried sleeping with me a few times and I've rejected him each time. I have no interest in him, and especially have no interest in sleeping with someone that was so close to my ex. I have started seeing someone and he is wonderful. We get along so well and just started going to the gym together. This is by far my healthiest relationship, despite my reservations of dating someone in the military. When he has to go away for training, I'll take his puppy out to the dog park and care for him while he's gone. He's goofy, caring, and I'm probably at his place half the week. I truly adore him and can't wait to see where this goes. He's going to be meeting my family this weekend for an impromptu Thanksgiving we're having, since my sister and her family are in town. She was also in the military, so she has a little interrogation planned, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyway, that's the update. Can only hope that life only gets better from here. One of my favorite things Redditors do is when they say it's the final update and then make 3 more posts. But OP got cheated on and she moved on and didn't let it, completely derail her life. He went to therapy, she had some problems, and it seems like she's in a better place now and, took the time, did the healing, and completely forgot about the ex, didn't give him that reaction, didn't give him that confrontation, finally blocked him, and hopefully the ex-roommate, or the roommate, is also in a better place. It seems like they're at least platonically getting along well, and it doesn't seem like he's drinking himself into a bottle. So it seems like everybody who should win did win. Anyway, next story. Story number 2. Am I the a-hole for cutting my mother-in-law off because she told my daughter she hoped I had died when I was taken to the hospital? I-30F was in a car crash. I had to be cut out of the car. I wasn't seriously injured though, thankfully, but the other person unfortunately wasn't doing too well from what I saw before I was taken away to the hospital. I was told to stay in hospital overnight to see if I suffered from a concussion. I rang my husband and told him what happened. My mother-in-law got the incidents mixed up when he dropped off our daughters 6 and 11 to my mother-in-law while he rushed to see me. Next morning, my husband brought our daughters while I was waiting to be discharged. Upon seeing me, my 6-year-old busted into tears and said, "I don't want you to die." I comforted her and said I'm not dying and I was very lucky. She then said Granny said she hoped I'd die so that them and my husband can come live with her. Me and my husband were shocked and my 12-year-old confirmed she heard her say that. My husband said he was going to ring mother-in-law. When he came back in the room, he looked furious, but didn't say anything until after we got home and said mother-in-law denied it, but after he kept pushing, she ended up admitting to it. But she said she didn't mean it. I thought me and her were close, but I guess not. I am incredibly hurt she would want that and said I wanted me and the girls to go no contact with mother-in-law. I told him he can have a relationship with her, but I don't want me and the girls to have one with her. My husband said he supports me. He then rang mother-in-law and told her what I said. She didn't take it too well. She came to our house crying and saying it was a misunderstanding and she didn't mean it and that we were taking it the wrong way. My husband asked, "What did you mean then?" She got hysterical and started crying and saying she always wanted daughters, but my husband was the only child due to her not being able to have any more after him, and that the girls are more like her daughters than granddaughters, and she wasn't thinking properly when he said that to our 6-year-old. She got so worked up that my husband had to take her home. When he got back, he said he didn't know she felt like that and asked did I still want to cut her off. I said yes. He said okay and didn't argue. But it's been a week now, and he is still very quiet and hasn't said much about what happened, and now I'm starting to feel guilty and wondering if I did take it the wrong way. And am I being the a-hole? Update post next day. Well, you guys were right. I decided to talk to my husband and asked if he's upset that I decided that me and the girls go no contact with mother-in-law. He said he wasn't. He said he always knew mother-in-law wanted a daughter instead of him, and it brought back all the bad memories of rejection and hurt he felt growing up as a kid by her. I suggested therapy and he's willing to go. We are also going to get therapy for our 6-year-old as she now gets anxious if I'm not within her sight. My husband agreed that going no contact with mother-in-law is the best thing for our family. Our daughter's birthday is coming up, and we have yet to tell mother-in-law she is no longer invited. Not looking forward to that, but that's the update. Thanks everyone for the lovely comments and support. I appreciate it. Update post number 2, 2 days after original post. I didn't think I would be posting here again and thought my last date would be my last. But here we are. Mother-in-law has been arrested. My husband's cousin found my post and knew it was me, and she reported it straight to mother-in-law. Yeah, we know it was you who told her, Christina. Margaret told us all about it when she came over and screaming we can't keep her daughters from her. She didn't even hesitate to drop your name and throw you under the bus. So much for loyalty, huh? You are not welcome in our home anymore, and you are officially removed from Sam's birthday list and our lives. How about you show the whole family the post so they can see how two-faced you are? To the Reddit community, sorry about that, but mother-in-law has been arrested. She came to our house screaming we can't keep her daughters from her. Husband tried to calm her down and get her to leave. She wouldn't and attacked him. My husband had to restrain her and I had to call the police. She fought them, but it got her nowhere except the back of their car. This woman is truly insane. My husband talked to the police because I had to calm down my daughters because they were witnessing the whole thing. My 6-year-old was hysterical about Granny being taken away. This is all just a big mess. Man, I feel really bad for the husband in this story to just know that your mother never really was excited about you, I guess is the proper way. Like, I don't know if she raised him right, but it seems like there's just, I don't know, a lot of hurt there. And she always wanted daughters, and then she got a son. She's like, oh, you. And then Granny got crazy and said her daughters are being taken away from her and got arrested. And now the poor 6-year-old has double trauma and probably has to double up on therapy. Man, this is unfortunate, right? I want to laugh at this one, but I feel for this family. But anyway, next story. Story number 3. My husband, 42M, is never jealous, and I, 36F, am growing resentful. I have been married to my husband for 12 years, 13 together, and 3 kids. He proposed 6 months after we got together and told me he knew by the second date. He is indeed very practical and rational. He is also very caring, kind, and supportive. Just really a wonderful partner. Except for one thing, he doesn't get jealous. Like, at all. By that I mean if someone flirts with me, he will just chuckle and move on, sometimes leaving me to deal with them alone. When his friend's father spent the entire night of his son's wedding hitting on me, he just said, "What a loser," and moved on. I even had an ex write a poem and post it and tag me. Still, my husband just said, "Wow, cool." And when I say, "How come you are not jealous?" he says, "Why would I? I trust you." Last week, I reached my boiling point. A month ago, there were some workers transferred to our department. Among them was my ex. We broke up amicably. He moved to a different country, and we kept a very shallow contact, like once a year for happy birthday text messages. When I went home, I immediately told my husband, and he said, "Cool," and then started talking about something else. I snapped. Not my proudest moment, but I said, "Are you serious? I just told you I am working with the ex I stayed with for years, and you don't care?" Then he said, "What do you want me to say? I know you, and I know you are extremely loyal. I know you will never cross any boundaries. I completely trust you, so why should I be jealous?" Now, I know I will never cross any boundaries. We never had that issue in our relationship. I am crazy about my husband. He is the one and only. I've spent my life showing him how much I love him because I really do. But being jealous, I see it as an expression of love, and him being so cold and indifferent is making me resentful, and I hate it. It just feels like he has taken me for granted. I am hurt, and he has been more affectionate than usual, but hasn't referred to that argument again. How do I navigate these feelings? It seems silly, but I am hurt. Now, here are some relevant comments. User 1 said, "I think when you say jealous, what you are not asking for is him to express insecurity, but instead to display some form of territory protection. You want him to act a bit more aggressive in protecting what is his. Maybe talk to him from that point of view. Tell him you don't want him to cry and weep about how some guy is going to take you away, but rather just a bit of back off, pal, instead. I suspect this is related to wanting to feel protected by him." Thank you. That is exactly what I meant. There was one instance when someone was hitting on me quite aggressively, and my husband just put his hands on my shoulders and said, "Hey, knock it off." He indeed stopped, and I was over the moon. So you were probably right. Update. Next day. Hello again. So I got a lot of messages, advice, and yes, insults. It is okay. I see why. By the way, I just had a baby and someone told me this is important. It might have added to my insecurities. I followed your advice and talked to my husband. I started by apologizing to him and he said it is okay. I just want to understand where this is coming from. So I explained. By jealous, I didn't mean him getting controlling or violent or even throwing a fit. I understand I expressed myself poorly. I meant I wanted him to show he cares enough to have a back-off attitude when somebody hits on me in front of him, or just ask how it is at work. Him not caring, I took it as him taking me for granted and not loving me or finding me attractive. He was shocked. He laughed and said, "How did you jump from me trusting you to me not loving you?" He then explained his side. He said a lot, but here's the gist. I don't get jealous because I feel it is disrespect to you. I don't say anything either because I keep thinking you don't need my protection, but I see your point and that I will change. But I am not jealous because the notion of you betraying me is just foreign. I know you and I know how much you love me, and believe me that I know I will not take you for granted. There were many instances that cemented my trust in you. For example, when 1 month after we started dating, I saw you turning down a guy who looked like a movie star. And we hadn't even talked about being exclusive yet. I didn't know he saw that. When you stood by my side when I lost my dad. When you sold your dear car because I needed urgent surgery. Anytime you initiate sex, I am singing inside. The sweet notes I find randomly in my bag, etc. The point is, I feel secure and comfortable. Do you have any idea how rare that is? I work with a lot of guys. I hear horror stories while there is me who can't wait to finish to go running back home to be with you. I then told him about how he feels when I sometimes get jealous. He just laughed and he said, "I always find it cute that you think I can see and be with someone else. I am all yours, body, soul, and heart." This man. He then said, "I had an ex who kept on flirting with guys and then eventually cheat. It was nerve-wracking. I was on edge, anxious, worried, and now I am at peace. So me trusting you is me loving you, and being at peace to knowing that we can be an ocean apart. I know you will respect us." Now let me ask you about this ex of yours at work. Have you had any inappropriate conversations, any one-on-one lunch or dinners, any lines crossed? And I said, no, no, and no, of course. He just smiled and said, I knew it. But I can see how you have not been yourself lately, and I am sorry if I did anything that makes you doubt how much I love you. I will work on that, I promise. Then he got to the part that I was avoiding. He said given how and where I was raised and how my parents have been, he isn't surprised that I mistook jealousy for love. For context, my parents have been together for years and should have divorced years ago. It is a constant cycle of a love-hate relationship. Dad used to even beat me and then say that it was because he loves me so much and is worried about what kind of person I will be. So we talked about therapy. I will be going next week. He also suggested a couples counseling because he wanted to learn how to be a better husband. We also talked about different love languages, future plans, etc. He called his mom and then asked her to take care of the kids while we went out on a date. We had dinner and then had ice cream. When we reached our home, I was laughing hard at his dad jokes. It's kind of his thing. And suddenly, he hugged me long and said, "Welcome back, love. I missed you." And I melted. So now he is sleeping with his head on my lap. I wanted to thank you all for your advice, kind and even harsh words. I needed them. To be honest, I am still scared of therapy because I know how ugly it is going to get. Maybe this is why I've postponed it for so long, but my family and I deserve to have my own best version. So if that means slaying some inner demons, then I'll do it. Thank you again, everyone. Now here are some relevant comments. User 1 said, "He sounds like a super nice person who loves OP very much. I just can't shake the feeling that there's something unfair about him apologizing and promising to work on himself and take therapy to learn how to be a better husband. I mean, it's like, what? I get that everyone might benefit from therapy and self-reflection, and he may have just been trying to make OP feel better about her own toxic behavior. It just feels unfair for the person who's done no wrong to randomly take on blame and vow to make adjustments for no reason. But I don't know, I'm probably just peeing on everyone's happiness parade here, so hell with it." I totally understand, and I told him that. First of all, this was never an issue before. I addressed it once in 13 years and occasionally got annoyed, but never made it an issue. It was a long discussion. We had to stop sometimes for the kids, breastfeeding, etc., so I admitted much of it. But I told him he had no need to apologize. It was entirely my fault that I had that meltdown. Whether it was a mixture of hormones, triggers, past whatever, I am to blame and I will work on my issues. He said he felt he was doing not so good of a job if for a second I suspected that he didn't love me with every fiber of his being, so he suggested counseling to understand how better to communicate and learn each other's love languages. I know sometimes I think I must have been a saint in a past life to have him in my life now. This is so romantic, I can't even handle it right now. Oh my goodness. But, I mean, she had a problem and some insecurities and some, internal conflict and recognized that and said, hey, I apologize for this. Hey, I'm going to go to therapy for this. And then they had a nice, healthy adult communication talk about this. And then, the husband was like, hey, I'm going to try and do some stuff too. Whether you guys think the husband did do anything wrong or not, he's still like, hey, I'm going to try and improve. So I'm curious what you guys think about this story. It's all so beautiful. Oh my God. Next story. Story number 4. I am pregnant and I am devastated. Yesterday, I-23F just found out I am pregnant and my honest reaction was crying. I made 2 pregnancy tests and both of them were positive. I don't want a baby at this moment of my life. I live with my parents. I'm looking for a place for myself. I don't have a full-time job. I'm not independent, and honestly, a baby will ruin my life plans. I already scheduled an appointment for an abortion and I'm really scared. I can't not tell anyone. I don't want to tell my parents. I don't have enough trust to say it to my sister, and I don't have any close friends to rely on. I'm alone and I'm really scared. I can't not tell anyone. I don't want to tell my parents. I don't have enough trust to say it to my sister, and I don't have any close friends to rely on. I'm alone and I'm really, really scared. I totally screwed up. Then in the comment section, OP elaborated on the possible father and if he is in the picture. My baby's father. We casually sleep with each other every once in a while. We are friends with benefits, nothing more. I don't care about his life and he doesn't care about mine either. However, I know him. I know that if I tell him that I am pregnant, he will tell me to have it, and I don't want that. Because I know that he will not only be a responsible father, he is against abortions, but he likes the life he currently has. I don't want to be tied with him for the rest of my life. Then OP elaborated on her parents and if they will support her. To be honest, I know my parents want me to have a child, but not right now. They want me to be successful first. If they find out, they will be mad as hell, but eventually they will help me. I know it, but I don't have to have it. I'm not ready. And then one user in the comment section said, everyone makes mistakes. You're going to be okay. You don't have to tell anyone. It's your personal business. I'm sorry you're stuck in this situation. Update. Hello guys, I'd like to thank the people who were understanding with my situation and gave me advice on how to deal with it, and the people who commented things offending me for having sex, you can F off. We are in the 21st century. If a woman wants to have sex, it's okay. And if a woman wants to abort it, she has every right to do so because she's responsible enough for not bringing a life into this world if she's not ready. First, I went to the hospital to take a blood pregnancy test, and it came back negative. I am not pregnant. However, I had a vaginoscopy, and it was detected that I have a fibroid. That means there is a risk of me being infertile. I don't know how to react to this. The fibroid was detected in time, and I will start treatment, and hopefully I won't have any kind of complications at the moment I decide to have children in the future. Besides, the reason why I didn't tell my parents or sister about the pregnancy is because they all believed that I was still a virgin. I started my life in the bedroom only a year ago, and well, I didn't know how to tell them that I had a pregnancy scare with a man I'm not even in a relationship with. However, I spoke with my mother. I told her absolutely everything about how I am no longer a virgin, that I had the pregnancy scare, and how they detected my fibroid. She seemed understanding, and the only thing that disappointed her was that I lost my virginity with a man who is not the prototype of a husband. Aside from that, I think opening up to her brought us closer, and I no longer feel that burden on my shoulders. Thank you again for everything. God bless y'all. If you have any questions, you can ask. Then in the comment section, OP elaborated on her mother's response to her situation. It wasn't that bad. She told me she wasn't surprised when I told her I wasn't a virgin anymore because she already knew it. You know, mother's sixth sense. And the next time I tell her something about my sex life or pregnancies, it has to be related to the boy I marry. And finally, one user said, I saw and reacted to your first post. I'm glad it all worked out. Do look into birth control. You are sexually active and not ready for a child. Please educate yourself in preventing pregnancy. Hey, get in, loser. We're going to get condoms and birth control. You want some Taco Bell along the way? Haha, yeah. Anyway, you gotta give me gas money. But, about the story? Why did I say that? OP had a scare in the bedroom. She talked to her mom. Mom was mostly supportive. OP recognized and realized, like, hey, I am not ready to have a kid yet at the age of 23. I'm not where I want to be. I am not with the person I want to be with. And, you know, she went about it and she got a bit smarter about her sex life and how to prevent such things. So I would say all in all, it worked out. Unless you're like really super hardcore religious, then you're probably angry at her. But anyway, guys, what do you think about this story? But anyway, we're at the end of the video, and you know what that means. The video's about to end. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. It means a lot. Have a really good day. Bye-bye.